You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Join the pop culture revolution with Ka-Pow, where fandom meets conversation.
No, you gotta say the
My
other
name
one.
is AI Robot. Beep, beep, beep. We asked
you definitely
AI to write, what did we ask it? Write a slogan?
Yeah.
And that's what it
Chat GPT.
It wasn't very good.
I like the other one. I added a moose. It got better after I added a moose.
All right, so Seth, whenever he does anything with AI, he asks us to add a moose. And it gave us, get ready to have your mind blown like a moose in a hurricane with Ka-Pow, your pop culture headquarters.
I love that. That's get ready to have your mind blown like a moose in a hurricane.
I don't know if we can live up to that, but we're going to try our best. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Guys.
You know what today is?
What?
Quick, before you'd have an anecdote?
It's
Friday.
Let me think about it. It is. I do know this.
It's the anniversary 6 years ago. This day in KPP history. Can you guess what happened on this day?
Oh my God!
In KPP history.
6 years ago.
In 2017.
Is this the show at Asylum? Was this the multi?
Yeah.
No. Was this? I don't know.
Tough to guess.
Was this Push 'em Tongue?
On this very day, 6 years ago, Larry Hama shared our video on his Facebook.
Oh, Larry Hama.
Oh.
Yeah, good friend of the pod, Larry Hama.
The day
who
Larry
we have all
Hama
met.
became a friend of the podcast.
Friend of show, Larry Hama. That's.
I did. Logan had just come out, and I made a little video.
Yes.
Comparing some of the comic book. There was a character in that movie that may have
I miss those.
I do too.
I think that was the first one I ever made, and then it was shared by the guy I was talking about. So there was nowhere to go. That's
pretty good.
It was all downhill from there.
You peaked. You peaked too early. It's all right. That happens. Oh, I know that the saying that if there's an asshole everywhere you go, you might be the problem. But I continuously run into problems everywhere I go or try to do business at. I had the whole kerfuffle at the post office, but then last week I tried to order a pizza. Okay.
Yeah.
And at first I wasn't even going to say what business it was because I'm not trying to dox this any pizza joints in town. I'm going to say this was Smitty's because I don't really blame Smitty's as much as I do the dork that answered the phone. So I don't know who it was. So blame the dork. But I always order a deluxe because it's cheaper than ordering all the items separately. They're like, just order a deluxe and tell us what you want on it. It's cheaper. I was like, okay. So I ordered deluxe with pepperoni, mushroom, onion, green pepper, and hot pepper. And he goes, so no salami, no olives, no bacon. I was like, I don't know. I want a deluxe with only pepperoni, mushroom, onion, green pepper, hot pepper. He's like very stubbornly says, so no salami, no olives, no bacon. It's like, all right, smart guy. I was like, that's what I want. I told you what I want. So get off the phone. And then I'm like, I know it's going to be wrong. Because as soon as I hung up, I was like, There's going to be freaking sausage on there. There's going to be sausage on there because I guarantee you that's on a deluxe and I don't want it. And he didn't say none of it. And sure enough, it showed up. It had sausage on it. I was like, I already had my note written. I already wrote out the conversation and I wrote at the bottom, and look, it's got sausage on it. I wrote that before the guy even delivered it. And I opened it up. I was like, yep. And I taped the note to the top of the box and handed it back to the delivery guy. And I handed him a $5 bill. I was like, you are the only one I owe money to. I was like, here's $5 for your trouble. Because I don't blame you. I was like, but you give this to the manager. I was like, not the guy who answers the phone. I gave you $5. You give this to the manager, and I don't want to pay. He's like, you don't want another pizza? I was like, no, I'm done. Just so freaking annoying. I was like, this guy does. Whenever you go to any business and some employee is like, they've worked there for like 6 months, and you have ordered the same thing for 20 years, but they know better. Oh, hate it.
I did that one time. My first job was at Dairy Queen, and I'd only been there a short while, and somebody ordered the banana split, which is an advanced treat for somebody who just started there.
Wow.
You got to peel the banana.
I barely had the swirl down. And it was the last, I was getting ready to leave. It was literally the last customer of my shift. And they want, banana split comes with, I don't even know, chocolate. Like there's 3 little blobs of ice cream, and you get chocolate on one, strawberry on the other, and I don't know what's on the third. And they asked for 3 other things. Okay. They wanted pineapple and something else. And I didn't realize what they meant. And I typed them all in as like extras. So they charged like 59 cents more for each thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I made it like I was trained to with the 3. I put chocolate and
and then you put that crap on top.
Then I put the other 3. So it had 6 different toppings, and I charged them way too much. And then I just left. I clocked out and went home.
You're like,
I messed this up so bad.
Threw a match and walked out.
Yeah. Wow. Now my
I'll get over it.
My daughter, she is not quite 16 yet, but she got her first job working at the ice cream shop down the street here. And she went.
I remember predicting that place wouldn't be open.
I do too.
I mean, like, all these businesses around here like that close immediately, and that place like opened in the winter.
Yeah.
and I was like, nope, gonna be closed in a month, and they're still open years later. I'm very surprised.
People like ice cream. But she went to she had an orientation the other day. They're just getting they've just opened last week for the season, and so she went to her orientation. Right. Then they had a couple meetings on like how to make stuff and that type of thing, training, and she came. I went and picked her up after one, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not very good at the ice cream machine." I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how can you be bad at skill? That? And she's like,
oh, that comes out pretty fast, and you gotta like get the rotation down and stuff.
Apparently, I don't know how she did it, but she packed it in there so tight in the styrofoam cup. The styrofoam exploded.
Oh yeah,
like
you hold times. It right on there, it gets dense. You can squeeze a little.
Oh man.
So yeah, she's got to work. They opened last weekend. She worked a few hours, and tomorrow she has to work tomorrow afternoon, and she has to work Sunday afternoon. So if you're in Marietta and you need some ice cream, then she'll hook you up. But
Dairy Queen wasn't a bad first job, so I'm sure she won't mind this as a first job. Ice cream.
That'd be a good job for her.
She's pretty excited. So
all right, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Podcast?
Oh, we're on the air. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, didn't you listen? We've been doing this for like 6 years, apparently.
Yeah. Hey, we got my mic fixed. Got my mic fixed. Don't need all the dirty details, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it sounds way better and then find out later it doesn't. So let's just assume it sounds
Somebody didn't like having the worst sounding mic, so now I know I have the worst sounding audio.
I don't know. We'll wait and listen to this and see.
We're going to remedy all of this and get us back to where we were pre-COVID. We had all that fancy equipment working right.
Speaking of 6 years past, hey, we didn't get a chance to talk about the Oscars. It was a long time ago, but we're movie fans, so we wanted to at least touch on it real quick here. We had the Oscars.
I made some pretty mean tweets about All Quiet on the Western Front during the Oscars. I was like, All Quiet on the Western Front needs to shut the F up. Every time they won an award, it was like scaring me that they were going to win Best Picture or something. And I did not like that.
Yeah, it racked up a few. I thought if there was anything with the chance of an upset, I thought that might have snuck in there. And like we said, we complain a lot about stuff. So when something does good, I want to give it credit. And I thought the show was very good. We have complained about award shows in the past.
Yeah.
I thought the Oscars this year fixed a lot of the things we don't like about award shows. It didn't play anybody off egregiously with the music. It played a lot of clips.
Couple times.
Yeah.
Couple times, but not like it used to do.
When they tried to sneak a second, hey, you say something too. It's like the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, then they would like blast the music. Get out of here.
Yeah, it was a definite improvement on that front.
And there were movies we liked. There were movies we were rooting for and actors we were rooting for. So we were kind of invested, I think, more this year.
Yes.
Oh, I totally was invested. I prepare the whole year. I basically prepare the whole year for the Oscars. Like that's my Super Bowl. Like I when I'm watching these movies and ranking them, keeping track the whole year, it's really that's subconsciously is leading up to that night because I know that's whether I mean this. Well, I mean you haven't said who won, but this the culmination. This was the first time in 30 years. It was 30 years ago. It was the last time my favorite movie of the year won Best Picture. So it was in 1993. Huh?
It is rare. Yes, it's rare.
It is very rare. Yeah.
I really like.
Yeah.
Wins, yeah.
I had won it for about 5 seconds there in 2017 Oscars for when La La Land. I thought it's happening. Nope. But it was 1993 Oscars was for Unforgiven. That was my favorite movie of 92, and so 30 years later, Everything Everywhere All at Once. So that was pretty sweet.
My only gripe, I would say, is that I'm not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think he was terrible, but there's also that need, you gotta go out and roast these celebrities like that. I don't know when and why that became the thing. Let's knock Tom Cruise down a peg, and it's like, okay, we get Ricky Gervais does that at the Golden Globes or whatever, set that precedent, but it's like, I'm not if you're watching that, you like Hollywood and you like movies and celebrity, you're not there to screw these rich people. A little teasing, whatever, but it's a lot goes a long way, especially at these very, the Oscars are the classiest. They're the top, at the Golden Globes, everybody's eating and drinking, or, the People's Choice Awards or whatever, nobody cares about. But the Oscars should have some amount of class.
Nobody cares what the people want.
Wow.
I totally agree. I want this to be taken reasonably seriously. There's got to be some wit as an MC, but I want to see clips and people to, flash back to old movie clips here and there. I could use more of that still. We could improve still upon what they did, but it was by far an improvement, so.
A couple pieces of trivia.
Ooh.
This is the first time since 1935 and the 7th Academy Awards that the Best Actor race was entirely first-time nominees. So everybody as a Best Actor was their first time. And it's the first time since 1977 that 2 films each earned 4 acting nominations. So Everything Everywhere and Banshees each had 4 nominations for actors, and that doesn't happen that often.
Banshees got nothing.
Nope.
There's a lot of films that were just shut out completely.
Elvis was shut out. That was fine with me, but Banshees was right up there for me. Like, man.
Hey, can I tell you that Carly watched that movie?
Which one?
That Banshees
Everything?
movie? Yeah.
Banshees.
Yeah, she actually watched it that weekend. Or anyways, I don't remember what day it was, but
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, because she asked me about watching it. I was like, yeah, I already tried. I was like 30 minutes into it, I was out. So she watched it, and she had a mixed review on it. Like, she didn't not like it, but she also said it was very weird and slow and so. But
sorry,
from a teenager, she put more effort into it than I did.
She did better than you. I thought maybe she'd like it just to spite you, but
like she thought, there were some funny parts, but ultimately
it's not for everybody.
But
I knew that when I watched it.
But she stayed up with me and watched the Oscars, and we really, like you said, we really enjoyed the show. I mean, from the beginning to end, and that surprised me because I haven't sat down and watched a full Oscars show, and I couldn't tell you how long. It's been a long time. And,
last year everybody's waiting to see what's going to pop off.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They had their crisis mitigation team at the ready. It's like, what are the odds something's going to happen?
They kind of suckered me in with that first award too. Like, I really wanted to see Key win
short round.
Yeah, I really wanted to see him win. And then at the end, having Harrison Ford out there was just like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that was sketchy. That was a gamble. I heard a lot of people say, oh, then as soon as I saw Harrison Ford come out, I knew that, they were going to win. I was like, I didn't. What was it? I don't remember last year or the year before when they were all, it was just like for sure Chadwick Boseman was supposed to win Best Actor or something. And they had everybody set up for that. And Anthony Hopkins did, and he wasn't even there. And it was just like the bottom dropped out of everything. Like, I was like, but anyway, it was good. Good, happy ending this time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
2, 3, 1. Yes, hi.
Hi, congratulations, Amanda Champagne with Closer Weekly. If your younger self could be here now at the age of Data and your younger Goonie brothers were here, what would they say to you right now?
Well, my younger self would not know all the struggles that I went through to be here. Because he was just having the time of his life, being a kid, being on a set, with on a pirate ship, going down a water slide, and right before this night started, Corey Feldman, one of my Goonies brother, called. I was talking to Carrie Green, and of course tonight, Jeff Cohen, who is my entertainment lawyer, is here tonight with me. He was in the audience, and that's why I wanted to thank him because I love all of them so much, and every single one of them was so happy. Sean reached out, Josh, Martha, and we are always bonded. We're family forever. Goonies never say die.
Kate Blanchett has just appeared this year in Tar, making it her 10th Best Picture nominee that she starred in, extending the record she set last year.
That may have been the best thing I've ever seen her in, like her best performance.
I feel like she just picks like this is going to be an Oscar contender. Let's do that, bro. I don't know if she does anything fun. Judd Hirsch.
I had fun. Judd Hirsch was like an animatronic. He looked like a Muppet in Fablemans. Like he was the 5 minutes he was in it. I loved him in it. I think my review on Letterboxd was even just about Judd Hirsch, but he's not in it enough to win an award.
So it was set a record for the longest period between Oscar nominations. So he was.
What was he nominated?
He was nominated in 1980 for Ordinary People. So 42 years between nominations is now a record. Okay. And at age 90, John Williams now holds the distinction of being the oldest ever nominee for The Fabelmans. And he is also the most nominated living person with 53 nominations.
Crazy.
That's a lot.
Now,
he's
the
won like 4 or 5
leader,
times.
do we know who the all-time leader is who is not living?
Walt Disney.
Not living.
Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
59 nominations and 22 wins.
Hey, did you guys know that John Williams' son sang the Never-Ending Story theme?
Is that some kind of Nepo baby thing?
And he
Never-ending Nepo baby.
Yeah. He also sang the theme to Gummy Bears.
Oh, now I'm listening.
That's not going to win you anything.
Here and there, all around the square.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I learned that this week.
Wow, that's good. That's good stuff.
It's better than all my trivia.
I know that's the best. That's the best trivia I've heard this whole show. Is the
How about
Gummy
this
Bears?
One? Steven Spielberg is now tied for directing the most Best Picture nominees with 13 in all, pulling even with William Wyler, who directed Ben-Hur. They've both been nominated for 13 Best Pictures, and he is the first and only director to be nominated in 6 different decades. Spielberg is.
Yeah, they just said that in the show or whatever, and I was like, "Whoa!" I bet the first thing he thought was, "I'm probably not going to be the first to do 7."
All right, so the winners, I don't know, there wasn't a whole lot to go around. Sound went to Top Gun Maverick, because those loud planes zooming around.
Yep.
Costume design went to Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
Visual effects to Avatar The Way of Water.
I think also the woman that, I could be wrong, but didn't the woman that won for Black Panther, the costuming, wasn't she like the first Black woman to win 2 Oscars?
That could be.
I don't know.
I don't
if
have
it's
that
not true, I'm going to edit that out.
Okay. Best original song went to Natu Natu from RRR.
Natu. They did a good job. I was worried. Worried that because the movie is that dance, only it's CGI'd and it's a little more intense than that. But they pulled it off. Those guys could dance. They did the dance. I was impressed.
Best documentary went to Navalny.
That was a good documentary. I watched it after the fact.
Best animated feature to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yeah, good. Gotta promote those animated movies. Start taking them seriously. They need to have a category for voice.
Yeah, they do.
Performances.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Otherwise, Jenny Slate should have been nominated for Best Actress for Marcella Shelby. There's not a category for someone like her.
No.
Adapted screenplay went to Women Talking, Sarah Polley.
Yeah,
and then
I like Sarah
every
Polley.
other award
Did not love Women Talking.
3 movies picked up every other award.
Yes.
So All Quiet on the Western Front. It was obvious they won Best International Film because they were already nominated for Best Picture. So obviously they're going to win International. And they won Original Score, Production Design, and Cinematography, which made sense, kind of the technical awards. Just, they liked how that movie looked and everything. Then The Whale got Brendan Fraser his Best Actor award, and it won for makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool moment. And I watched some of his interviews, afterwards, and with the press. And, he just seems like, always has seemed like such a genuine type person.
You're rooting for him.
Absolutely.
I definitely was glad to see him win. I would have. Who was he up against? There was somebody else I was rooting for in that category.
Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, Bill Nye.
Yeah, Colin Farrell. Yeah, Colin Farrell. I probably would have preferred, but I'm happy with this for sure.
And then Everything, Everywhere, All at Once won everything else. Editing, original screenplay, best director, supporting actress for Jamie Lee Curtis, supporting actor for Ki Hei Kwan, and then best actress Michelle Yeoh, and best picture. So when's the backlash? Now everyone's going to hate this movie, right? It won
right now. Jamie Lee Curtis should never have won that. That was a Lifetime Achievement Award or something. Like, she was totally fine in that movie, but come on. Carrie Condon was amazing. Even Stephanie Sue should have won over her.
Yeah, there was a supporting actress in the same movie that was even that did a better job than she did. But they were, again, the energy was Jamie Lee, the energy and the.
Well, she's become your mom, everybody's mom. Like, you're like, she's embarrassing. Like, every time I see her, I saw her through the award season, she was like obnoxiously excited, and she was just very much like a embarrassing mother the whole time.
Have you eaten your yogurt? Are you regular?
Yeah. Mom, you get your boobs out too much here. Little, could you cinch it up? Forgot your cinch. It's just a bit much. She kept, whatever. Happy for her, I guess.
I did want to mention, before we move on from the award show, the Independent Spirit Awards, which that is my favorite award show of the year. I've been watching that going back to probably high school, whenever IFC had the basic cable.
It was not on IFC. I watched it too, and that was ridiculous. The channel wouldn't be.
The tradition that I always had, you watch the Independent Spirit Awards are on the Saturday before the Oscars. I always watch them and maybe take note of a movie I hadn't heard of and add something to my list that I want to see this year. I was at work Saturday. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to record the Independent Spirits. So I Googled it.
It's a sentence no one else has ever said.
I thought it. I thought it for a second.
And then I learned it was not on TV this year. It was only streaming. So it had already been broadcast like 2 weeks earlier. It had been they recorded a long time ago, and it was on the Film Independent website or their YouTube channel. And the host was Hassan Minhaj, and he made a lot of good jokes about this isn't even worth. No one even cares enough to put this on TV. IFC's doing reruns of that '70s show and 2.5 Men and stuff. But I know that era has passed. But I don't know. I always loved that broadcast because it did the same thing. It just let you talk for as long as you want to. It was very casual. Everybody's drinking. No one's stuffy in tuxedos and stuff, and it was the cool kids table next to the stuffy Oscars, and I've always loved it. And again, Everything Everywhere swept that award too. They won basically everything there as well.
Yeah. Oh, it was good times. I like that stuff. So, what else you got?
Any other movie stuff before we move on?
Oh, I saw Scream 6.
Scream 6.
6. It was, 6. Went to the mall, which I'm happy to report that I had a good experience at the mall theater. And I don't know that I've ever been in theater 1. Like, a lot of stuff that I go to see at the mall that I would go see is things that didn't come to Marietta.
Yeah.
And so there something independent that came there because they had more theaters, and so I'd end up in one of the small theaters looking up at the ceiling basically, and we went to see Scream 6 in Theater 1, which is the biggest screen and the biggest theater, and it was nice. And it looked good. And I was like, oh my gosh. And when we were done, we went into every theater. We just went up and down the hallway, went into every theater and like just checked everything out. Yeah, I want to know what I'm getting into. Kind of like what theaters I felt like I would be interested in watching a movie in. So I've got my eyes on a couple. But anyway, I'm a little more happy with it. Now, we're gonna go see John Wick in Theater 1 this weekend. So anyway, Scream 6 was a Scream sequel. If you like Scream sequels, and I'm not saying if you like Scream, because the first movie is far superior to the rest of them, but this is right on par with all the other Scream sequels, and we had a good time. It was just as ridiculous an ending as every other one of them. So no complaints from us. Good stuff. Did you guys see anything? Watch anything?
I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think I've seen any movies here lately.
Well, it's all right. So what we talk about, we watch on TV. What we watch?
TV.
You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Marsha!
The fucking light, yo. Yo, son, come on, yo, Romar's coming, man.
I'm Prison Mike. You know why they call me Prison Mike?
Beavis, please sit down.
Are you threatening me? I am Cornholio.
First sign a youngster's going wrong, you got to nip it in the bud. Nip it.
And I'm sitting there with Woody, and I turn to him and I go, boy, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Picture it. Sicily, 1939.
What you talking about, Willis?
Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? My neighbor.
Afternoon, everybody.
We watched
Shrinking.
Shrinking.
I watched Shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
That show on Apple I told you about before, I think. Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, a couple other people, I don't know their names, but started out fine.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I thought it ended after 8 episodes, and I was like, oh, there's another episode. So I watched it, and I thought it was over. Then, there's another. There was 10 episodes. I think it actually ended today. But I think you would like it, Cliff.
I will say that in our household here, we are pretty big Jason Segel fans. Like
I am. I like him.
Especially Forgetting Sarah Marshall and the Muppets.
Yeah.
In particular.
One of my all-time favorite movies, top 20 all-time favorite movies, is Jeff Who Lives at Home. I love that movie, and he's great in it. So yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
He's a little, it's a little ridiculous. Everybody says there's dumb jokes in it here and there, and it's kind of just whatever, but it's kind of heartwarming too. And it's actually kind of a contrast to Ted Lasso, which recently came back. Ted Lasso was kind of this feel-good show, and Shrinking is kind of a less, you don't have to be so perfect type. I don't know. It's like a Ted Lasso alternative.
Jason Segel has an ability to play kind of cringy, like on the verge of creepy, but yet somehow he really walks that line of like, oh, I think I still kind of like this character in a lot of movies.
I'll fall for that. Anyway, I think you should try it out. Let me know what you think. I liked it. I liked the It all wrapped up. Ted McGinley's in it. What more do you want? You got.
Well, the issue I have right now is I don't have Apple TV, so
Happy Days.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds. Superstar Ted McGinley. yeah. We haven't watched.
The premise though of Shrinking is he's a psychiatrist or psychologist. I'm not sure. He and Harrison Ford is also. And this other actress, I can't remember her name. Sorry, but she's good in it too. And his wife has died, and it's kind of them all supporting each other, and lives are intertwined. Harrison Ford is a little annoying in the early episodes, and all obviously curmudgeonly and stuff. But I feel like he loosened up further on into the season, and I liked him better.
Yeah, we just don't currently have Apple Plus.
Oh, I started that Hello Tomorrow show on there and gave up on it. Like I thought that was going to be cool.
I could not get through that show. We were watching it earlier.
2 episodes, I think, and just is like a, I don't know. It's not worth getting into. I didn't like it, so
yeah,
I quit.
Yeah, I mentioned to Alicia the other day about like, Ted Lasso season 3's out, and she's like, oh, okay, let's watch it. And I'm like, we don't have Apple right now. And she's like, well, we have to get it. And I was like,
don't you have a job? That's what she said.
I was like, well, can't we just, maybe wait a few weeks at least until like most of the episodes are out, and then we don't have to pay for it for like 2 months or 3 months.
Hey, that's whatever. A plan. I've been there. I do that stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold out. We'll see how it goes.
Do the rotation. I'm waiting on Paramount Plus right now till they build up some episodes and some stuff. Last of Us ended. Did we all? Well, you didn't watch that, Cliff. You finished that, right, Jordan?
Yes.
I was happy with the ending of this first season. Of course, when we did our video games thing, this was in my top 10 games of all time, and played the sequel, and it also was right up there. I just loved both of those games, but they ended this first season just exactly like the video game ends, and which was satisfying to. I mean, it's what you want. You want them to do that, and it to work in its way as well. Companion piece, and it was great. It was really good.
I liked it a lot. Although I don't say this about almost any show ever, I feel like it needed more episodes. It needed a few more hours.
Yeah.
Because it went from, I'm stoic and you're not, you're just cargo to me. You mean nothing to me, to hugging her and calling her baby girl.
Yeah.
Happened fast. And yes, in the show, the time jumped months. They spent months and months together. I get it. But like, I feel like it just needed some more. And I don't want it to turn into Walking Dead. I didn't want it to be zombie killer of the week or whatever. Like, but I just felt like it needed a little bit more to lead up to that ending and really make it pay off. And then the ending, again, I could see playing a video game where, you're tasked with saving the world. Here is point A to point B, and then you have to make maybe a different choice. I get that being mind-blowing in a video game, but I got to that ending and it was like, well, what other choice did he have? Like, it didn't feel to me like they set it up as some huge monumental character moment. Because like, what else is this guy going to do? This is what he's going to do. He's going to walk through that room and do what he does. So I liked it a lot, but I don't know, maybe my expectations just after hearing, it's going to blow you away. The ending's amazing. You'll never see it coming. Maybe it was too hyped up for me that I was a little like, that's it.
Yeah. When you play the game, you get to that moment, and you have to. Spoilers for the end of The Last of Us show / video game. It's been out ended a couple weeks ago, and everybody watched it. And that's that was your chance. 3, 2, 1. at the end, they are going to, they've got her sedated. They're going to have to delve into her brain to cure everyone and
save the world.
Save the world. And he's like, no, that ain't happening. And he knew they hadn't told her that, even though he had just basically got the message from her that that's what she would want. And he goes through and tries to save her. But in the video game, he goes to the doctor and he does just like in the show. And he does, you have to shoot the doctor, to move on with the game. And I think the point of that is, a lot of times you have your choices, but that at that point they've tried to set up that isn't a choice for Joel. That just isn't a choice. But I listened to a interview with Neil Druckmann, the creator, and he was like, yeah, so many people, I'm just getting the same discourse I got when the video game came out. Why did you make me kill everybody? And he's like, well, I didn't. And he's like, you had to kill that doctor. But like, people are like, I had to kill those nurses and all this stuff. And he's like, nope, sure didn't. And which I thought is a nice twist because I murdered everyone. but yeah, I agree with his twist on that. And they've had to fast forward the travel and everything and cut out so much of the zombie killing that it does seem like their relationship moves pretty fast. But I agree that's a flaw. Because each episode or bundle of episodes, you're like, okay, here's a new character. By the end of this episode or next, they're dead. Every single new character we met the entire season. So that was it's a little dark.
But they've said the second game they're gonna break. It's gonna be multiple seasons. They've already greenlit the next season, so they're not gonna try to do the whole game in one season. We're gonna definitely get more.
Yeah, it wouldn't be possible, and and I don't expect it to follow the second game religiously. Like they'll have to make some different choices, I think. But I'm looking forward to it, and I even kind of want to replay the second game because I really enjoyed it. So I think we built up to the climactic ending here where we're going to talk some more Mandalorian. How many? So it was a couple more episodes, right?
Yeah, two more episodes. I can do the plot breakdowns if you want me to.
Yes.
You can just interrupt me whenever you have something to say.
That's what we'll do. Do it.
All right, so we left off the third episode of season 3, chapter 19, The Convert.
People hated this episode.
I didn't remember what happened. I'm excited. I like being on the other side of this. When we do Riverdale, I gotta give the breakdown, and this is a surprise for me.
All right, so it begins with them waking up in the mines. We had just taken a bath with the.
Oh yeah.
And Den says, I am redeemed. And Bo-Katan says, can we leave now? So I don't know if she's not buying it or it's like, I want to get away from this scary monster in the water. So she wants to leave.
Maybe a little bit.
But she questions him and he didn't see anything under the water. So she's the only one who saw this big creature in the depths.
Right. I'm really excited about her story now. It's almost like she has the most interesting story going on right now. Mm-hmm. Like her whole, she is, one of the converts in this episode, and I just like this episode and next go, right together. And
I saw somebody say, hey, the show's called The Mandalorian. It doesn't have to be Din Djarin.
Exactly. And it doesn't. It's Baby Yoda. I mean. They're nailing it with the titles.
So they're in her ship, leaving Mandalore. We almost, I don't know if it was Grogu's first words or not, but somebody said this is the way, and he gurgled something. So that might have been his first words, saying this is the way.
Well, he's not old enough to declare, to say the vowels.
One doesn't speak unless one knows.
That's right.
So they're zipping home when they're attacked by TIE interceptors.
Yep.
A whole, yeah.
Yeah. So
Whole bunch of them.
A little bit
Yeah,
of
whole
dogfight.
bunch.
Jim
Squadron.
has to jump out in midair.
That was
get
cool.
to his own ship. So we had a fun
Pretty
little
sweet.
dogfight around her planet, her castle. And we learned it was all a diversion distraction to bomb her castle. So the TIEs blow up Bo-Katan's home. She doesn't have a throne to sit on anymore.
She don't even have a throne to sit on.
But they escape to hyperspace. And then we shift gears.
Like it's like literally like it always goes. Like every Star Wars space fight ends with someone escaping into hyperspace. I've never seen a single space dogfight that did not end with an escape to hyperspace.
That's not true.
No, no. This is this 99.9% of them.
There was a very famous one
like
that involved the Millennium Falcon in the
I
Empire
know.
Strikes
I'm just
Back.
saying. Yeah. Okay. One time they found a creature.
Yes.
So we
Hyperspace was out.
to Coruscant and follow a whole different character for the whole rest of the episode, basically.
Yeah, this is the part people hated.
Yeah, because there is a little too Andor for them.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So we get Dr. Penn Pershing. We last saw in season 1 as the clone engineer. He was messing with the blood samples from Grogu.
Yeah, he wanted to see the baby.
The actor's name is Omid Abtani.
Okay.
And we learn there's an amnesty program. The former Imperials can get rehabilitated here on Coruscant. So he, I don't know what, probably that or jail, I'm guessing. So we're trying to reform our ways. So he's given a number, L52, and a cubicle to work in that, again, looked a lot like Andor, the bureaucracy.
Like what was that guy's name? Cyril?
Yeah.
Like how to, it's like you just look like you ended up just like that guy, and he didn't like it either.
So he's giving a job archiving equipment, and then he learns it's all stuff that's going to be destroyed anyway. So this is very much the big bureaucracy that we saw in Andor, that it's just we're kind of lost. You know, the cogs in the wheel are just not important to the big picture.
Doesn't matter which side you're on.
Right. Yeah, this is all heavily leading into the sequel trilogy and how, why when the First Order
there's a First Order and
appears and the New Republic doesn't really have any type of defense against them, and Leia leaves and creates the resistance in order to have an army to fight them. So
she was very like, hey, we need to keep these ships and everything, and meanwhile they're just not into that at all right now. We're seeing they're just like, nope, everything's fine. We don't need to be ready for anything.
Yep.
So this is definitely we're looking at what the good guys, quote unquote, are doing right now. And it's not much different than what they were doing right before A New Hope in Andor. So he asks to do some research into cloning. It will help the greater good and help medical research, and he is forbidden. So he's just kind of biding his time, working his 9 to 5. He's at home checking Wikipedia and learning about the planet he's on. They do a quick little info about what where he's living.
Yeah, that guy interviewing him, that robot or whatever.
Yeah, he's got to check in, and they ask him, "Are you having any feelings?"
Therapy droid.
Yeah. It was very like asking questions that but not caring what the answer is. Like just as long as you're not getting uppity.
Yeah, there's no nuance. Like it's obvious he's struggling. And
we're not giving you therapy. We're making sure you are just doing what we tell you.
Yeah, just checking the boxes. So he runs into some other folks in this amnesty program. drinking, which my brother was very happy to see. He called them the little hug juice boxes of the Empire. Like those little, you remember those little barrels of juice with the foil tops?
Oh,
They had
yeah.
those little things. Like, happy to see those exist
Sweet.
in a galaxy far, far away. So
Okay.
there's all these former Imperials, and he recognizes one who also worked for Moff Gideon, Elia Kane.
A lot of Moff Gideon talk. Like he is so eminent in this season. Like, I mean, I don't feel like we got maybe another episode or two. He's going to be up our butts. Like, I mean,
hey, somebody had to send that squadron of interceptors.
Oh
in.
yeah. Who else wants to bomb? Looking for the Darksaber.
So she's kind of friendly to him, and
they walk the line pretty well with whether she's. They definitely try to make her suspicious, but yet when they go out like on the street, like hanging out in the fountain or whatever and things like that, she's like playing a little practical joke and let's go get a fizzy pop or whatever the heck she says. And
it's all photon fizzle.
Yeah, the
photon fizzle. That soon to be at Galaxy's Edge.
Yes. I want a glow pop because that's what I called him.
I
glow
want
pop.
a picture. I want a picture of you with a photon fizzle in your favorite bathroom.
Let me tell you though, when they got to that scene with the glow pops, like Alicia and I were watching it, and there's music playing right on Coruscant in the background. And my ears immediately perk up. And I'm like, what? And my wife actually turned to me and she goes, that's theme park music. And I was like, you're damn right at what it is. And they were playing the Interventions background music loop. And just like, and I even, because I messaged Justin, I was like, you noticed this, right? And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, this is Interventions music they're playing in the background. So he went and watched it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And he broke it down for me, like what they changed in it, so it wouldn't be completely obvious, even though it was completely obvious,
right?
But yeah, it was.
That's
I'm like,
synergy.
The synergies were synergizing.
Yes.
So I thought it was obvious she was trying to lead him somewhere. I assumed it was to some pod of Imperials that were still doing evil stuff or still even working for Gideon, something like that. So I thought it was obvious she was baiting him, but I didn't guess where it was actually going. So.
Oh yeah, it seemed obvious, but they tried to hide it a little bit. But still, you're like, they don't normally do little fun things with them or something. It's usually almost always too obvious, but anyway.
The obvious thing of the whole deal was the fact that, they fired one actress for her, opinions, basically, a big, strong woman, and they've replaced her now with another rather strong woman who has much the opposite of opinions publicly. So I was like, okay. Putting a little statement out there. I see you, Disney.
A much different role, though. Like
much different role, but I think she's going to have a big part of this show.
So she gets him to sneak out to try to go find a mobile lab so he can start doing some of this research without them knowing. So they have to take a train. They get in a little disguise. Taker droids chase them out of the train, and they have to jump off like Star Wars hobos, jumping riding the rails.
No railings, no railings in Star Wars. Just freaking, you're hung out to dry anywhere you go. What's that movie? There's an old movie like that. This had to have been. This is just crossing my mind now. I feel like I watched an old black and white movie on a train. It might have been Strangers on a Train or something, but where they go to the back of the train and
throw Mama from the train.
No, was it the? Owen. Was it double?
Double indemnity. The guy in the cast had to jump off the back of the tree.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're right. Good job.
So they make their way to a scrapped Star Destroyer that's still got juice. They've still got lights and everything's still working inside, but it's gutted and they're pulling everything out by the wires. And we learn she led him there. He got his little med kit, and she betrayed him. That he gets arrested for, I don't know, for looting the Empire, I guess. And then they strap him to a mind flayer.
Yeah.
Which,
what was the point?
These are the good guys here.
Yeah, what was the point?
It seemed like they could turn it on mildly and just get him to chill out a little bit, a little Xanax, just to be like, hey, I'm cooperative.
Yeah, they were going to help it. According to what species is
the Twi'lek
Akbar?
Oh,
Mon
Calamari.
Yeah, because they said they made a trap joke.
Yeah, he says it was a trap, and the Calamari's like, oh,
yeah, that's my line.
It was great. And then, but I believe that what they were going to do was probably not a negative thing to this guy. Like, what they were intending to do. You know, like I know what you're shaking your head. You know, it was
meant
least
to be
would not be in
rehabilitation
helpful.
Into that program, not we're going to punish you so much.
Not aggressive, just a little few zaps to the brain.
Yeah, it felt like Clockwork Orange. Like,
we do this in Indiana.
We're gonna change your will. You know, if you can't get along, we're gonna make you get along. Which again, that's free will. That's bad news, no matter who you are.
But that wasn't enough for her.
No, so we thought maybe, okay, she's just working for the good guys, I guess. But no, everybody leaves the room. She cranks up the juice and fries his brain. And then casually eats one of those biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Biscuits. She bribed him with the space biscuit.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the biscuits. They goaded him earlier at lunch when they're having their sippy boxes and stuff. And they're like, oh, what do you miss? Missing it. Well, not the bad stuff. They're like, we're just talking about, I like them gold biscuits. Them Empire biscuits are tasty.
He didn't even put peanut butter on them.
Well,
just a dry cracker.
That was pretty bad to sit there and eat a biscuit while you fried his brain. So what's her deal? What was the point of that?
Yeah, we don't know if she killed him, or if there's he's made him pliable to Moff Gideon's plans or something. Who knows? But yeah, my feeling is she's not working. She's a triple agent or whatever. She's not working.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For this.
She's the
cops who arrested him. She's got her own plot in mind. But then again, why not just recruit him to your side?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Why all the steps? Whenever I get a multi-agent, I think, was there a simpler way to do this? Did you have to be everything? But anyway, that was good. It was good.
And last scene, we jump back to Din taking Bo-Katan to the Mandalorian hideout, and she is welcome to the clan. She's been washed in the same water, the living waters, and she hasn't taken her helmet off, so she is just as welcome as he is.
And that was I got a lot of problems with this. Like, as we get into the next episode, like when they said that sounded so stupid to me. When she was like, "Well, and have you taken your helmet off?" Nope. Well, it's like, I feel like it'd be more purposeful than that. You almost have to ask something like, "Well, did you even want to take your helmet off?" Like, just because you kept your helmet on. There's just we found some stuff out in this next episode that really just pokes holes. It makes it sound even dumber every time I hear this helmet talk. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know which way she's going to go quite yet. I think I do, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, obviously, even Death Watch during the Clone Wars, they removed their helmets. They took them off all the time and looked at each other, and they knew what everybody looked like. And this is a Children of the Watch. This is their thing, as far as the deal with the helmets and the armor and all that crap. So, yeah.
But I feel like it's moving slowly enough. She's not just automatically converted. Like,
yeah. I do too.
She gets a chance to see their culture, and she saw a mythosaur, and she's being won over. I don't think she's there yet, but she's in the process of being won over.
Well, I like the pace they're going at with her and her, definitely. I totally agree.
They haven't even mentioned Satine yet. Satine was the ruler of Mandalore. She was a pacifist. Those people, they had moved beyond all of this, weapons and armor and all that stuff. And, which makes me kind of wonder too, like when she's talking about in the next episode, when she's talking about her dad and like, how proud he was of her to watch her, bathe in the living waters and take the creed or, say the creed and all that stuff. So I was trying to remember, like, is that how she ended up, Night Owls and Death Watch and all that stuff? Was it because of him? Like, I couldn't remember, or if they had talked about that or covered that in the show, but yeah, I'm still waiting around for her to mention Satine and what Mandalore had become at that time.
So of course the convert also talks about that guy that, in the episode.
If I had to make a wild, uneducated guess, it'll be that she's going to be in charge of all these people by the end of it. That they're all going to be following her in some
100%. They're building to that, but that feels
some
satisfying.
Altered version. It's a mixture between their two beliefs.
It will have to change, and they definitely give you plenty of stuff to look at in this next episode, which we're going to roll into here, that could use some fixing.
All right, episode 4, chapter 20, the Foundling.
Oh,
all these names are the something.
Ton of foundlings in this one.
Directed by Carl Weathers.
Yes.
So it kicks off on the beach. We're back at the clan's.
This is so stupid.
Place.
Now
they're sparring and
they're
firing
training
off guns. It's how I imagine every beach in Florida. People just indiscriminately firing weapons.
That's like it really makes them look like a terrible militia of some, like, we're just shooting hellfire missiles out into the water.
We know them gators are out there somewhere.
Yeah, literally. There's one out there. No one.
But it was implied.
Yeah. No wonder the gator that's in that pond is so mad at them and attacked them a couple episodes ago, because they're just shooting out into the water. Like what does that test? You're not shooting at a target even at all. It's just stupid. You're just wasting ammunition. You're on this like deserted place. It's all desert, and you're in those full armored uniforms that just look, they're just sweaty.
Yeah.
And then they're just sparring in the sand and knocking each other down, and that was all so dumb.
They're shooting flamethrowers.
Right.
Yeah.
At each other.
Again, I can imagine this happening.
It was almost poetic though, after
in the panhandle somewhere.
After hearing all the criticism about the last episode and how, this is just so boring and they're not doing anything, and then they open up on this nutso scene of just random and I could just imagine all those people going, yeah, this is what we want.
I mean, honestly, as much as I'm laughing at it, I think it was a pretty epic fail. Like, if you to do this right, they should have had a structured training with like some sort of actual intense like actual intense training that looked legitimate, of a good fighting squad. This was just everybody doing whatever the heck they wanted, looking like a bunch of rednecks, and
Carl Weathers, what are you doing?
It just that was a big fail for me.
If they had
didn't ruin it, but I was like, whatever. That was stupid.
Had they inserted like Yosemite Sam into that scene, just out there going,
yeah,
he would have fit right in.
Had Jimmy Kimmel's Nepo nephew just out shooting everywhere up in the sky. We did have okay. While this is going on, you got Baby Yoda down there at the beach. This was cute. Like the rocks are moving around.
A pattern of rocks or something, maybe moving with the force, but it's actually little crabs.
Yeah,
he's playing with the crabs.
I like that because it was like there was enough mystery there to be like, okay, first you think he's moving them, then you realize they can move themselves, or is he keeping them from being able to go in the water when they just want to leave? And he's doing some of it, but they're doing some of it. And also it was like, I love the idea of they are also wearing helmets. Just like all these people, you cannot be on this beach without a helmet.
Yeah. It was just the contrast of, all that, those idiots behind him just shooting their guns and whatnot, flamethrowers, and then he's just chilling out on the beach, just playing with crabs. It's just such a
great. It was great.
Like, maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's not bought into all this nonsense.
I want us to do a sidebar here. We're gonna at some point do a bracket or something with 100% approval rating things, and one of them's gonna be Baby Yoda. Like who could beat Baby Yoda? In a bracket of approval.
Jeff Goldblum.
I don't. I'm adding him to the list.
We could do baby.
Anyway, go on.
Baby versus baby with the old dinosaurs, not the mama.
Dinosaurs. Yeah.
We're off track already. Send me these ideas at your leisure.
All right. So yeah, it looks like Grogu just doesn't want any part of this. He's happy being a baby, playing in the sand. But Daddy thinks he needs to train with the other foundlings.
Yeah, and
this is amazing. Like the not the actual fight, which is fine and was basically exactly what you would expect to happen, but the fact that we didn't know for sure what was going to happen, it was so cute. And just the idea of him, like the way he talked to him, like, well, you're gonna have to learn. Just make it in there, kid.
Very much like that softball dad or little league dad.
Yeah.
Look, kid, get out there, rub some dirt on it. You gotta get in there.
And he's this little nothing. It's so freaking cute. Like I was just bursting. Like my smile was so big watching this. I was like everything that Den was saying to him and the way he looked at him. Oh, just freaking loved it.
And everyone else is like, are you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah.
But he's 100% committed and says, next challenger. So he has to step up to fight.
Yeah, just like, real, like, I got a guy, right? It's like, what?
And even the kid's like, I don't think I want to beat up this baby. He's like, why doesn't he have a helmet? It's like, he can't speak yet. He can't speak the creed. And that's when we...
Right. And I immediately was like, pause. What does Baby Yoda? What is he going to talk like when he freaking talks and has to? Are we ever going to get to the point where he's saying the oath for a Mandalorian? Like that would blow my mind.
Yeah, he has to say it backwards like Yoda.
Yeah, does Frank Oz have some Nepo kid we can get to do the voice?
I was just like, what? He has to say something. He's going to speak someday.
So that's when we get some other piece of Mando wisdom. One doesn't speak unless one knows. And they all kind of nod their heads like, yeah, that's an accepted thing. So yeah, if he can't say the words, he's not expected to have a helmet yet. But he is expected to know how to fight. So they get the training dirt.
Exactly. None of this other stuff. You better be able to fight on this beach.
So we get
against Jimmy Kimmel's nephew. His Nepo baby. If you were mad about Jimmy Kimmel doing the Oscars, what do you think about his Nepo nephew out here fighting Baby Yoda?
Shoots Yoda with 2 darts. I don't like him at all. So yeah, Grogu does nothing to stop the first 2 darts. It's little Mr.
Looks up at Dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
looks up at Dad, just sad.
Do the crane technique, baby. Do it. So he flips around, pegs him with 3 darts. Winner, LaRusso.
Exactly. Put him in a body bag.
So yeah, that's a short-lived victory because they apparently live on Monster Beach because now the pterodactyl swoops down and
we're just out here. We just got attacked the other day, and now we're just gonna hang out here. And we find out that not only does this thing attack and take the kid, but it's been happening for a while. Yeah. We've lost other kids this way.
Multiple kids.
It's Land of the Lost. That's where they live.
That's the show that I knew that Saturday mornings were over. When Land of the Lost started, I went outside. I'm done. I did not like Land of the Lost.
I saw a comment. Somebody said, I don't know if this was just them trying to make an excuse or if this is actual lore, that Mandalorians want to live in a dangerous place because they always want to have to test their metal and they always want to be ready to fight. So I don't know if that makes any more sense.
That sounds like a bunch of whatever.
Why they live on Mole Man's Monster Island, but
yeah,
so they
don't even have I think they live there because they can't go anywhere. Do they have a ship? I don't think they have a ship.
Stuck on the planet?
I don't even know how they got there.
Takes a lot of Beskar to make a ship.
Yeah.
They all try to follow with their jetpacks and don't get very far, but
which is a plot point. That's it. Yeah, that's it. She has a ship.
She jumped in her ship and followed, found its nest. So she's got a plan. All right, so I'm glad somebody does. The guy's just going to go. My kid's going.
Yeah. Oh man, the 3rd kid this week.
Yeah.
I don't know how many nephews Jimmy Kimmel has.
That was Ragnar number 3.
Yeah.
All right, so here's where it gets interesting. The armorer is going to forge Grogu a new piece of armor from scrap Beskar, which is I guess a Foundling tradition.
Right.
You help deck him out in armor as young as you can, and she's giving him a speech and banging on the metal, and the sparks are flying, and it sparks a flashback that Grogu has back to Coruscant.
Oh, this was
again.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is where the Jedi Temple is, right, on Coruscant?
Yeah.
So we get the moment Order 66 has been invoked, and we've got evil stormtroopers taking out Jedi, and we get a new Jedi Master shows up, Kelleran Beck.
Kelleran Beck.
Recognize him? I'll admit I didn't recognize
Absolutely.
him.
Oh yeah. I knew it was Ahmed Best.
Yeah. But this is the Beck, Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Former Jar Jar Binks is now a Jedi Master.
I did not realize though that he had played Kelleran Beck before on Jedi Temple Challenge, which was a kid's YouTube thing that happened that apparently was terrible.
And it's now
he was another Beck character. It was it was a very George Lucas name. They took his name and made it was like Ahmad Beck or whatever. And so now he's playing someone related to him, to that character, I guess. It was animated.
Okay.
That were before, because I remember him playing a character, and it was in Clone Wars or something. And now there's this. Yeah, it was from that YouTube show. But I loved seeing him. He was great.
He was really good. Great. Yeah.
Well, I was just I was so happy for that guy.
Me too.
I would watch more of them together.
So was everybody online I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ahmed Beck, the same fandom that drove him out and sent death threats and made his life terrible are now
all those
people to have him back.
all those people grew up and feel terrible. They all feel terrible.
Right.
Same way with Hayden Christensen when he came back as
Jake Lloyd,
Vader.
He got some of it.
They hated that guy. They drove him from acting because they hated him. So now, it's so good to have him back and give him another shot. And let's not destroy his life this time.
As much as that is frustrating, I totally agree with that idea. But then I think this is the only good way. I'm glad that.
Yeah, I'm glad that
like
it's better.
this.
Yeah, it's better to do it now than never, I guess. But maybe not be awful at the beginning.
Yeah, right.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
When's Kelly Marie Tran get to have her moment as come back 30 years from now?
Yeah.
Hang out.
Yeah. Do some
30 years from now.
Jedi temple challenges.
Yeah.
No, I do think everybody felt really bad. Of course, all those years ago, but he was pretty public in letting it know how it affected him later on. And, he had suicidal tendencies that he admitted to, and that made it kind of, I hate to say it made it special, but yeah, I mean, it you felt good for the guy. So to be able to have
hopefully that led to maybe some people rethinking it of like, I was just making comments on the internet. I didn't realize it would affect an actual person. So yeah, maybe he did make a difference in some way. Hopefully.
Yeah.
We hope so.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him. I'm like, that's probably somebody. But it wasn't until the credits I saw him like, that guy. So, okay.
That guy.
So, yeah, great scene. Chase scene, whipping out the lightsabers, taking out clones. Yeah.
He had that character, I want to say he had a purple lightsaber before. In the show, or am I thinking of the animated thing? I can't remember, but they purposefully do not give him one in this because they're trying to stick to the only Samuel L. Jackson. But I loved just picking up random lightsabers there and fighting. That was great.
Yeah, his that character apparently is he kind of had like some gold little detail on his robes, if you notice, and the speculation is like Jedi teachers kind of had that, adornment on their robes and stuff. So kids would know, young Jedi kids would know like who the teachers were. So
I like to imagine that Representative Banks sent him on this mission.
I saw that with like the ship they used was a Naboo ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could have been some make up your own headcanon if we never get to it. But
and the guards were Senate guards. So
Senator Banks is out there saving the day.
Yeah, that's a nicer ending than the sad juggling clown thing we read a few years ago on Naboo.
All right, so the flashback ends. We come back to Grogu, and like his little face, there was so much emotion on that little puppet. Like him coming out of that flashback, like he was having a moment. There.
Yes, I agree.
It was a moving performance.
Yeah,
that's some advanced
I was impressed.
AI right there.
Yeah.
All right, so the plan, we gotta save this kid eventually. So we camp out for the night. Like we're in no hurry. We'll do it in the morning. I'm sure he's fine.
And so I was like, this is so effing stupid. They're like, okay, we're gonna eat. Well, how do we eat without taking our friggin' masks off? Well, everybody goes and hides somewhere and eats, and you get to stay here because this is your posse. And as soon as we all go hide to eat our gruel, you can take your helmet off. And I'm like, guys, how do you bang it out? That's all I want to know. Because you guys are making us think too much about this whole process and how stupid it is.
Maybe they don't. Maybe that's why they have all those foundlings. They just steal kids from, like the Jedi. They just
you know how foundlings come around. Foundlings you don't steal them. I mean, you can't do that with a helmet on. I just hate the whole premise. the whole leaving the helmet on thing all the time is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I just hate it. I think it was a stupid idea that they've started with it. But I will say this: I'm one of the people that prefers them keeping it on for all these scenes, because somebody's like, "Oh, you pay for Pedro Pascal, or any of these people, and you never see their faces or emotion." I think they have done an amazing job of just having the helmets on and getting their emotions across. Like I love it. I do not have a bit of problem with that. I hate that it is a thing. It's more just, to me, it's more like the absence of watching these superhero movies where, Spider-Man has to take his mask off, Captain America has to take his mask off, so we get what we're paying for. It's more just like the more reality of it. You wouldn't take your helmet off all the time, throughout the day if you were doing, a soldier. But I don't like that they have to keep it on. Yeah, it's stupid.
I like Boba Fett way better before we knew what he looked like.
That's how I feel. It is such a Star Wars thing.
I totally agree. I loved Boba Fett my whole life.
50 years ago, some production designer 50 years ago created a costume out of scrap fabrics and thought it looked cool. Yeah. And we've spent decades since explaining everything. That's a Wookiee. That's a piece of Wookiee hair. And
we got a Wookiee pelt.
That's Beskar armor, and that's this logo means this. And it's everything in Star Wars was thrown together as cheaply as possible with scrap costume design. And it's like, nope, it all has to be dissected and explained at many years
anyway. Hopefully Bo-Katan changes these rules and she comes to power.
Well, they actually use their grappling hook lines again for
it was so funny too. I was like, they probably only go so far too. You can only use your jetpack so far, and you use your grappling hooks only so far. They're like pulling themselves up. It was so Batman and Robin.
It was.
I wanted them to go sideways and have them just walking up there, and somebody pop out of a rock and look at them and ask and say something stupid to them, and
that surprised me a little bit, because I almost expected something to jump out at them or whatever, but it was just them climbing a rock. That's not very Star Wars.
So they get up to the nest and it looks empty, but there's babies in the nest. And they're loud and they call for Mama. And then Mama Pterodactyl shows up and regurgitates the kid.
No slime.
It's been in there for 2 days.
He's perfectly dry.
Totally fine.
Thank God he had his helmet on.
That's why you don't take your helmet off.
That's right.
You never know when you're going to be ingested by a bird. So we get a fight. They use ropes some more. These ropes, man. They get the job done. So they tangle up the bird in the ropes, and like the ending of every Jurassic Park movie, they feed it to a bigger animal, and the alligator from before jumps up and eats the bird.
Oh, that was exactly out of Jurassic World or whatever the first one was. It was so
Deus Ex Machina.
There's always a bigger fish. That's what Qui-Gon
true.
said.
So we saved the day, saved the foundling, brought 3 new bird baby foundlings back.
Oh, what are they going to do?
Because our dang freaking jetpacks only go so far. We need to ride these suckers. They'll go
Next
all the way.
Challenger. They're going to fight these birds.
That would be awesome.
They're going to be riding those freaking birds by the end of the season for sure. And they're like, we don't have to worry about these jetpacks anymore.
Yeah. We can ride a mythosaur. We can ride a raptor dragon baby.
We learn that saving a foundling is the highest honor of the creed.
Oh, well.
That Bo-Katan's armor was damaged during the fight, so the armor is going to hook her up. And she says, hey, can I get the mythosaur on that? So it sounds like she's becoming a believer.
So we got
mythosaur drip on my armor.
Yeah, well, Baby Yoda got the horn. What's that thing called?
The mud horn.
Mudhorn, because they're like Clan Mudhorn or whatever, him and Din. And so he got that, and then she got the Mythosaur.
Because that logo belongs to any Mandalorian.
Yes, yeah.
Which I thought that was a nice little ending. Like, I liked that scene where, the armor asked her,
like that, yeah.
Should I, do you want to,
even though I think the armor is just like, the armor is a problem. Like, the armor is the problem with this whole group. Like, she's just makes up all these rules, it seems like. I just feel like she's full of it.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I don't know. I don't know how long she's going to last. Like,
yeah,
they're going to have to find a new armor at some point here. She keeps running in after turtle gators with a hammer and a.
She needs a boss. She needs somebody. She's got too much authority.
Yeah.
Like, I think once somebody like actually takes charge of this group, maybe she'll just stick to armoring. Don't know why I'm so worried about it.
We're all caught up as far as we have seen. 4 episodes into this new season.
It ended though. She what didn't she at the end say? Was basically told the armor. I really saw a Mythosaur.
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, visions and stuff.
Yeah, we've all.
She's like, no. She's like, no, I really saw a Mythosaur, like for reals though. And she's like, this is the way. Of course, she says this is the way. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what you mean by that. You just said it to be cool. It's cool ending the episode, but I assume she believes her then, and like this happens sometimes. And
I don't think she does. No, I don't think she believes her at all.
Oh, I don't know.
But
I don't think she did. But But I think she made it pretty clear she really saw one.
Who at this point do you think is going to ride the Mythosaur now? Is it going to be Bo?
I think it's Bo-Katan.
I do
like
too.
Now I feel like it's her, and she's gonna have the Darksaber and ride the Mythosaur. It's gonna be badass. I'm gonna be like, yeah. Watch it. It'll be freaking Boba Fett or something stupid.
No, he's already got his ride. He's riding that Rancor all over Tatooine. I think it's Bo, or I think it's Boba
Fett.
Grogu.
Boba Fett can stay in there.
Yeah.
Get Grogu on there on the
didn't Grogu
seat.
He's got some. Yeah, he can.
He's got animal.
Grogu's the one that took out the Mudhorn, not Mandalorian.
Right.
He brought down
and
the
Rancor too, right?
Yeah. So, he's the man. That's
so
why you stuffed him in there. I got a challenger for you. This little sucker took out a lot more than some late night talk show host Nepo nephew.
Oh, shoot.
All right, we got to wrap it up.
Yes.
It's a long episode.
That's it for us. We'll be back with more Mando and more TV and more everything soon. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Thanks for listening. Bye forever, though.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like,
comment, and share.